I'm so excited to show you this lamp makeover. I got these lamps off Facebook Marketplace. They were only $20 for the pair. I'm gonna disassemble them, remove the shades. In this case, I got super lucky because the cord to the lamp is actually not even attached to the lamp. If you're making over your lamps and they do have a cord attached, simply tape off the cord. For the next step, I'm using a flat black spray paint and just spraying the glass. Next, I mixed up some plaster of Paris, just following the instructions on the box. Using gloves, I'm spreading it on, and you don't have to be too careful because you can sand it later. I want to show you what I'm doing with these little handles. You can see this one I already have 2 on. This one I just have 1 on. So I have my roll of air dried clay, and I just rolled it between my hands. Now I'm going to twist this one around so that I can make sure that I get it at about the same spot as this one. So here, I'm just gonna eyeball it, kind of get my handle about the same. And then once I get my handle in, my hands are a little wet, by the way. Just gonna start pressing out. So let me see if I can zoom in here for you. Let me get this on there and then I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, so see how I'm gonna start blending this in with the jug on all sides. And if I can get into the inside, I'm gonna kind of do that one as well because I want it to stick and I don't want it to come off. I wanted to show you these after they have dried. You can see how here the plaster of Paris and the clay have kind of separated from each other, but the handle's still on and it's secure. So I'm actually just gonna start going over this with my paint and covering up the transition. So the first color I'm going to use is Raw Umber. This was from Hobby Lobby. I am going to actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna start with a lighter base color. This was a Oops paint from Home Depot. It was only 50 cents. It was a color that was done in the color sample, so I don't think I can tell you the name of it. I don't know if that control number helps you figure out the color or not, but you can kind of see it's a little bit tan, a little bit olive. So you can see that I've mixed baking soda with my paint. I like to mix quite a bit of baking soda until I get this really peanut butter consistency. The application technique here is more of a tapping and less of a brushing, and this just ensures that it's not going to go on too smooth and it keeps as much texture as possible. Okay, I've got the baking soda paint applied to both of these. Now I'm just going to let it dry. You can see I applied it really thick and messy and just let it stay textured and bubbly. And then when this dries, I'll come in and start aging them. The color you'll see me using here is called Hazelnut, and it is a chalk paint that I find at Walmart. I'll put the link below, and I'm really just applying it. You'll see here it's kind of blotchy, but I'm gonna be using a paper towel. Later in the video, I'll be adding water to this paint, and it'll make more of a brown wash that'll just kind of age and antique the entire vase. So I use a couple different techniques, just kind of watch and see the layering process happen. using a washing technique, which I just added a lot of water to this hazelnut chalk paint, and I'm kind of adding this antiqued wash on top of the vase. This helps to blend all of the different colors together as well and just age the entire jug. I found this so funny that I happened to be videoing this moment, but it's a perfect example of what happens during DIYs. Sometimes they go perfectly and sometimes they don't, but I glued the handle back on with some super glue, so it was really no big deal. Here you'll see that I'm using a wet sponge and I'm using the lighter color. Again, it's kind of just that aging technique. I wasn't happy with how dark and brown these were, so I added a little bit of the white color and then the wet sponge just blends it all together. So you'll find with projects like this, it's all about layering. Just continue to layer. You can't mess them up because you can just keep adding colors and neutralizing if the color got too dark or adding darker if it got too light. So you just keep going until you get the color the way you want it. So I'm nearing the end of this project. I finished with the painting, I reassembled the lamps, and then I wanted to change the silver to gold. So I'm just using a little bit of rub and buff. I don't really know if this is the best way to apply it. I probably could have used a brush, but I was just using my finger and rubbing it on the silver. It worked just fine. I also changed the shades on these lamps, which I think makes a huge difference. So they came with drum shades, and I switched them for tapered shades, which are a little more modern, a little more in style, so it definitely elevated this lamp. So ready to see the final result? I love how they turned out. I think they look beautiful, and I can't believe it was $20 for the pair. So here they are. Tell me what you think and leave me some comments. Thank you so much for watching.